My friends, I hope that your week has gotten off to an excellent start. All right, so there was this article that kept on popping up in my newsfeed. And at first I was like, there's no way I'm reading this. I mean, how stupid is this going to be? And so I kept on avoiding it. But anyway, I didn't really succeed. I ended up clicking the link, reading the article, and now I've got to share it with you all because, guys, I mean, this is just something else. And it's funny because the reason I want to share this article with you is not because it's so important and it's real news that you need to worry about. It's actually so banal that I had to share it with you all just so I don't feel like I'm the crazy one here. It was an article that the Daily Mail ran on Saturday. So the headline is Prince Harry's crucial words of advice to Meghan Markle just moments before she met the Queen for the very first time, and how his future wife mistook Prince Andrew for a servant. So first off, I thought to myself, why do I want to read what Harry said to Meghan just moments before she met the Queen years ago? I mean, how is this news? And as for how she pretended to mistake Andrew for a servant, well, yeah, we've already covered that topic. We know all about that. The article itself is just about as dumb as you would think that it is. So a couple of highlights. Harry says that when he told Meghan she was going to be meeting his grandmother, the Queen, she said, "Fun, I love grandmas." What is wrong with that woman? I mean, who would respond like that when being told they are going to meet a literal queen? I guess Meghan would. That's who would do that. Harry claims this meeting took place in October of 2016, and supposedly Meghan had been planning to call up Sarah Ferguson for some tips on what to do when she met the late Queen for the first time. Again, why are we supposed to believe any of this? But anyway, Harry says that Fergie showed Meghan how to do a curtsy, and she did such a great job. Meghan did a perfect curtsy in front of the Queen. Harry says everyone complimented Meg on her curtsy. So good, so deep. Gag me. Again, I mean, seriously, how transparent can these two be? Obviously, Meghan has been hearing that people were not such a big fan of that horrible mock curtsy, that very disrespectful mock curtsy that she did in their Netflix docuseries. So she and Harry decided, oh, I know what we'll do. We'll get our PR people to write an article because neither of us can write. But anyway, let's get our minions to write an article and we'll send it to the Daily Mail. And then everyone will forget all about that mocking curtsy Meghan did that was so hateful. And they'll fall in love with her because they're going to believe me when I tell them it was a perfect curtsy. I mean, Meghan does everything perfectly. And then, of course, they got to remind us of how Meghan pretended to not know who Andrew was, probably because it was going to be a little awkward to explain how she knew him. I mean, at that point in time, she didn't want the news to get out that she knew Andrew from her days as a yacht girl. So Harry says, after a moment, Meg asked me something about the Queen's assistant, that man holding the purse, the man who walked her to her door. That wasn't her assistant, that was her second son, Andrew. In spare, Harry also wrote she definitely hadn't Googled us. Really, Harry? Are you really that dumb? You really bought that act? I mean, come on now. Meghan is not famed for her acting skills. I find it very difficult to believe she did such a good job of acting that one single time that she managed to fool you. Who knows, maybe she really did manage to fool Harry, but she didn't fool anybody else. And then that's pretty much it. That's basically the whole article. Clearly yet another puff piece coming from Madame Markle's PR team. Are they succeeding in their mission to make her popular? Well, absolutely not. With every single puff piece that comes out, she gets more haters, more detractors, but that doesn't appear to be stopping them. So then that brings me to another article. Now, this article came out in the Express just yesterday. And this article is a bit more important because it's not a puff piece that was put out by Meghan's PR people. It's actually making some good points about exactly why Meghan and Harry are so problematic and why they are so unpopular. So the Express ran the headline, Meghan Markle told to keep her head down if she wants any hope of improving reputation. A PR expert for Go Up named Edward Coram James. He weighed in for this article, and I think he really knows his stuff. I think it would be really good for Meghan to listen to his advice. I'm sure she never will, but let's talk about what he had to say. They were talking about the rumors of Meghan releasing this memoir, and so Mr. Coram James said, without a doubt, the best thing for Meghan to do at the moment is to keep her head down and focus on the issue-based work that she is most passionate about. The article goes on to say that Mr. Coram James said the success of the Invictus Games, which was attended by Meghan, has shown just how strong a tool an issue-based focus can be. And he went on to say, Harry's focus on Invictus led to the first universally positive headline run that he's experienced in years. The expert goes on to say if he stays away from controversy and keeps plugging away at the many good causes that he's passionate about and that are hugely popular with the public, over time his reputation is likely to experience significant recovery. The same rule applies to Meghan. And I think he's touching on something that's really interesting, probably to me the most interesting thing about Meghan and Harry, and that is their refusal to just look at the reality of their situation and make changes, make good changes to help their reputations. That to me is what is so baffling about the two of them. I mean, think about other celebrities who have gotten into a little bit of trouble, and then they know the best thing to do is to lay low for a while, and then they can kind of slowly begin to put themselves out there again, and usually they are accepted, as long as they have done something to work on themselves, something to really change. But that is the opposite of what we see from Meghan and Harry, and that is what I find just so astounding and honestly quite interesting, is that they just don't seem to get it. Or I don't know, it's like they truly believe that because they have so much money, and yeah, they do have money, they believe that because they have so much money, they have the right to dictate their narrative, as they call it. Well, I'm sorry, but no, the world does not work that way, even though they would like it to. And honestly, that's why I refuse to believe that they're a couple of harmless idiots. I mean, what they're trying to do is rob us of our freedom of speech. They don't want us to be allowed to say anything bad about them. They don't want the media to be able to release any negative stories about them. And that, my friends, is a very big problem for all of us. And I know they claim they're fighting against disinformation or misinformation or whatever they want to call it. But let's be real here. They want to control what information is out there. It's not about disinformation or misinformation. I mean, look at all the puff pieces they put out that are so obviously written by them. But anyway, let's hear what else this PR expert had to say. He continued saying, there will always be online trolls that swear otherwise, but the truth is that the same laws of physics that apply to any person or corporation apply also to the Sussexes. He says most reputations are recoverable and theirs is no exception. There is a strong sense that the last few years have been defined by Meghan talking about Meghan, Harry talking about Harry. Well, that's an understatement. But anyway, he says that may be a deeply unfair criticism, as in many respects they were simply trying to take back a small fraction of control over the narrative about their own lives, a narrative that, until then, had been dictated by a hostile press and social media. And yes, I know that is what they claim, but folks, at this point, that is not the truth. That is not what is going on here. Their narrative is not being dictated by a hostile press. Their narrative is being dictated by them. And guess what? They're also dictating other people's narratives, like William and Catherine and the rest of the royal family. Every single day, there is a new article in some tabloid about the two of them, and you can tell it came from them, because those articles are always so one-sided. They're always including this information that is, at best, highly dubious. Sometimes people ask me, why do you keep talking about them? You say they need to go away, so stop giving them attention. But you guys, what is becoming clear to me now is that if we don't stop talking about them, they are not going to go away. They're going to keep on putting out these stories. And without us there to counter their narrative, well, guess what? Their narrative becomes accepted as truth, and that is a very scary thought. At this point, ignoring the two of them is like ignoring a cancer. It's not going to go away. It's just going to get a lot worse. And you, what do you think about the future of Meghan and Harry's reputations? Please let me know below in the comments section. Before you go, don't forget to like and share this video with anybody else who would enjoy it. And if you still haven't done it, please hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss a video from Kate Middleton and the Queen team. Thank you so much for tuning in. You have a wonderful day, and I'll be back to see you soon.